Greetings, badasses. How's it going? My name is Julia. This is the fucking yoga company, Yoga for the Rest of Us. All of the benefits, none of the fitness bullshit. There's plenty of bullshit here. It's just doesn't have anything to do with yoga or Pilates or calisthenics or fitness. Whatever I teach, I try to keep the bullshit out of it. How's it going? How's that for a big old moonshot? I'm trying to fix this blanket. It was all off kilter. I washed it, and now all my folds are out of it. This is morning groove yoga. Sorry, I started this, and now I really need to get my workflow under control. You ever feel like your workflow is not in your, you're just around? Me too. Hey, newsflash. You know what? I'll just record something else. We're going to get started. Morning Groove Yoga is a yoga flow with, I can't say designed because quite honestly, I don't design these ahead. I generally don't design them ahead of time. I do have flows recorded and I do keep track of them. I have kept track of them in the past. I try to transcribe them after I do them so that I have them. But I also have them in posterity in these videos, and more so now because I'm using a different system. I have a different system in place. But I do incorporate all of my expertise in terms of my 35 years? No. Almost 40 years, right? 37 years of yoga experience, training, teaching, practice. To inform what we do on the mat. So that's always going on in my brain. That's the benefit of taking a yoga class or finding an instructor. I just hope you're doing it with me. That's what I hope. Everything that I do is informed by the principles of Vini Yoga, stripped of some of the bullshit. Yes, Vini Yoga has some bullshit. And then, of course, informed by my experience with injuries and illness. Then, in addition, my experience with other yoga instructors. Experience in classes with other yoga instructors. So that's my background. And my goal with these videos is to, one, listen, I'm not the most zen of yoga instructors. I don't speak in a sultry midnight jazz radio DJ voice. I do try not to shout. I'm a loud speaker. That comes from years of teaching and projecting. I don't have the most, what do I want to call it? Hoodoo voodoo style of spirituality. I don't think you need to add a spiritual element to yoga because yoga in itself is not a spiritual practice. It's a physical practice. Buddhism is what I would consider a spiritual practice. It's not a religion. Hinduism is a religion and a spiritual practice. And yes, yoga does have its place within those structures, I will say. But modern transnational physical yoga you can do without a spiritual practice. You will find, I think, over time that it does affect your mindfulness. And I don't think mindfulness necessarily is a spiritual thing. I think it's a practice, and it can affect your brain chemistry, which does affect your physicality and your health, right? So your mental health affects your emotional health, affects your physical health, and those things are intrinsically connected, and that has been proven scientifically. So that's what I like to hang my hook on, right? Is this, there's a physical element that I think that we diminish and we shit all over by going into that kind of, now that's just me, right? But I find that makes my yoga practices much more accessible. And maybe this should be an entirely separate video. Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll probably make this an entirely separate video. Anyway, hi, my name is Julia. This is the fucking yoga company. Yoga for the rest of us, all of the benefits, none of the bullshit. This is Morning Groove Yoga. This flow right now is intended to get us moving into our day, one foot in front of the other, moving forward towards our goals of progress. And it's a light energy practice, hopefully, depending on how you slept. I don't really know what time of day you're doing this, but I'm doing this first thing in the morning before I start anything else. So that's where I'm moving from. That's where I'm speaking from. And we're going to start in comfortable seated position, whatever that looks like for you. Legs extended is staff pose. This is a lovely position. I think it's pretty accessible for most people. If you're feeling that tug in your low back or behind your hamstrings, go ahead and grab a blanket or a bolster and tuck it behind your knees. I think that will take some of that tension off. I am sitting with my just on the very edge of a blanket. My sit bones, those ischial tuberosities, they're the pointy bits of your pelvic cradle. That helps me with the pelvic tilt, so that takes off some of the tension as well of tight hamstrings and makes sitting on the ground a little bit more accessible. If you have a bolster, they have these round yoga bolsters. I don't have one. You could also sit on that if you're feeling really tight, or sit on your block. Put a blanket over your block and raise yourself up. That will take some of this tension out of your hip flexors. One leg out, one leg in. This is a lovely position. This is a nice midway point between staff pose and pleasant seated pose. You will notice that my heel is out. My leg is in parallel with the edge of the mat. First of all, I have thunder thighs. I'm embracing that as a statement of power, and I have powerful calves. There's no way I'm going to get this heel tucked up against my pubic bone. And that's not a life skill. So part of my philosophy in yoga is this general life skill. What yoga poses are truly beneficial to you versus what yoga poses are ego poses and can cause you injury. Sitting in, quote, lotus pose is not a life skill. Right? A life skill, driving a stick shift if you can find one, learning how to swim. I think riding a bike is a life skill. Let's see, what are other life skills? Well, I'll think of some, right? You probably have your own list. This one's a lovely position because it's a nice easy stretch in the adductor, and it's going to give you some external rotational support in this hip flexor. Now, if your knee is really high and you're feeling that pinch in the outside of your hip girdle, which is your piriformis, go ahead and grab a pillow, a blanket, a bolster, and set your leg on it, right? So that you can relax into this position and start to build that external stretch. I'm going to sit in pleasant seated pose. You can join me here. Oh, I'm feeling my such left hip tightness. I don't know why it's always that way. This is not fucking lotus pose. Right? It's not crisscross applesauce. I'm not stacked, and I'm not straining for something or rotating your knee, which is really what happens in lotus pose, in a way that will strain that support of your knee. Both of my legs are in parallel on the mat. Sorry, my eyes are itchy. Right? Same thing. If you're just determined to sit here with me and your knees are really high and you're leaning back to compensate for that, grab a couple of hand towels or a couple of throw pillows. I'm a pillow whore, I will admit it. Toss them under your legs and let your legs relax into that position so that you can take that tension off and start to feel a little bit more in balance. In balance, not imbalance. Because the goal of yoga fundamentally is to help support balance between both sides of our bodies, because we live our lives imbalance, right? I'm tight on my left side. It affects my right side. That's just how we work through our day. We're going to pull our attention and awareness from the external to the internal, taking a scan of the body, checking in state and quality of the physical form. How are you feeling today? Where are you feeling some play, some tension? Your body's communicating to you, right? Aches, pains, tightness, all of those things are communication. And we really spend a lot of our time ignoring that. So I want you to really pay attention to what your body's telling you and how you feel in this moment. Moving that attention and awareness into the state and quality of your thinking. Ideally, if you're just getting up out of bed, you're not quite awake. That's a lovely liminal space to be in. I am bouncing around. Things are bouncing around all over my brain. And so I want to take this moment to slide all of that off to the side and create a nice, clear, open field of thought so that I can be there in my practice and be on this mat. And then I'm moving that silence into the awareness of my breath. So traditionally in yoga, we breathe into and out of our noses. Some people are dealing with sinuses. You're recovering from viruses. Here at the farm, we had a whole conversation about deviated septums. You know, breathing into and out of your nose might be frustrating for you. So just breathe, right? But I do want you to pay attention to the flow of air coming into and out of your lungs. Feel all of the muscles, speaking of allergies, that work to support that breath. And just notice the mechanics of it. We're going to slowly invite that breath to get a little bit deeper and a little bit longer. And I want you to match the length of inhale to the length of exhale, creating a lovely rhythm of breath that I will try to, let's see. I would like you to work on maintaining that as your touchstone, right? The breath. Each time you start to spiral into that list, you start to fall into that to-do list, I want you to move that attention, those things off to the side and come back to the breath. Wherever you are in that length of balance of breath, let's exhale all the air out of the lungs. We're going to reach the fingertips toward the mat. Sweeping the arms up toward the ceiling, nice big stretch. I have a nice lovely roundness of arm. My shoulders are staying tucked. So I don't want you to shrug your shoulders up by your ears. I want you to drop them out, creating length in the neck. And exhale, releasing those hands to the mat. Nice big inhale up. Now I am working the Ujjayi breath. It's called the victorious breath. It's a slight valving at the back of your throat that creates that lovely hiss of air that you experience when you put your ear up to a conch shell. Nice big inhale up. Let's take lateral extension. You don't have to sound like Darth Vader. It doesn't have to be a pit of vipers. You've been in a yoga class that you've heard those people. And their breathing becomes a competitive exercise and they're in, it's such an what's the word? Imposition? No. Interference? Assault. It's an assault. I'm inhaling as I extend toward the ceiling and exhaling into the tilt. Now this is not a collapse of the waistband over the ribs over the waistband. I'm lengthening up and then leaning away from that hip. I want to create a nice, lovely, long stretch through the side body. Inhaling up, let's start our first forward fold. Tuck the chin forward, trace those fingertips down. We're resting our weight on our forearms, knees, calves, ankles, block, or floor. Wiggle the toes, relax the feet, unclench the teeth. Walking our hands back, nice big stretch up toward the ceiling. Releasing hands down to the hips. We're going to bow the chin forward. Give me a little shake of those shoulders to relax the tension. They like to creep up to our ears. Take a tilt of the ear over to one side. We're running a semicircle, right? A crescent shape. From ear to shoulder, down to chin to chest, and then in the other direction. We don't do full head circles here at the fucking yoga company because when you look up and tilt your chin toward the ceiling, you're compressing your cervical spine. You're crunching those vertebral phalanges together. And, crunching the spine, not a good thing. That's not a good idea. A very bad idea. Bowing the chin forward, let's trace the fingertips around the front of the body and slowly stack cervical spine. I'm going to change the placement of my legs. If you're in staff pose, stay right there. If you're in the modified Z-sit or in pleasant seated pose, swap those legs. Take a little rock side to side, get yourself recentered. Inhaling up. We're going to take a little twist today. So I'm going to bring my fingertips down to just below shoulder length, and then I'm turning my belly button toward my knee, but I'm leading with my shoulder blade. Inhaling up. So I'm going to drive that shoulder blade toward my spine and follow with the ribs and the belly button. Now we're just warming up, so it doesn't have to be the strongest, most powerful twist. I'm just moving with the power of my core. I'm not straining, I'm not reaching, I'm not going to take the bind. We will take a bind in a minute. So let's just do that right now. And by bind, I mean I'm taking my right hand to my left knee, and I'm going to give myself a little leverage, and I'm going to hold here for a few breaths. Excuse me, inhaling up. I'm going to take my left hand around to my right knee, and then take my stay. This is called a stay. We're just holding for a few breaths. Oh, left side tight, man. Oh. Inhaling up, let's go ahead and take forward fold. Tracing fingertips down, tucking with the chin. Again, resting on the forearms. Wiggle the toes, relax the feet, unclench the teeth. Walking the hands back. Taking a nice, lovely stretch up toward the ceiling. We're going to release hands to hips, bowing the chin. My father is not wearing his hearing aids. I know this because the music outside keeps tilting further and further up, cranking further and further up. Bowing the chin forward and taking a tilt of the ear in the other direction. One more time to both sides. Releasing the chin forward, tracing fingertips around the front of the body, slowly stacking cervical spine. Moving to hands and knees. I like to pad my knees with a blanket. Sorry, I've got a piece of fluff somewhere on my eyelash. Oh. All right. I'm going to use a block between my ankles. I like I'm working on keeping my legs in parallel to adjust the positioning of the legs to get some, I'm working through these adductors, I'm working through hip flexors, and it's translating into a little into quads. If you want to test out this theory, what I'm doing, feel free. 2 fist widths on the mat. Place the knees to either sides of the hands. Moving the heels of the hands from 90 degrees out a full palm's length. So here's my first gripe. If you've been in a yoga class and they say 90 degrees. If you have carpal tunnel, which, raise your hand, that's a bullshit position because you're going to put all of your body weight on the wrists rather than into the balls of the hands. If you move your hands out in front of the shoulders, soften the elbows, you're going to be in the chest, right? You're taking some of that pressure off of your wrists. Nice big, your wrists were not designed to hold up your body weight, BTW. Inhaling at center. Tuck the chin, take the forearms down, scoop the belly, and draw back into the fold. All right. Now, the further back your hips are towards your heels, the higher your head might be off the mat. Inhaling forward. The further you dip the bow with your head, right, the higher your booty might be, given the fact that if you're like me, you're carrying a little extra weight and you have thunder thighs, powerful, powerful legs. Thunder is an amazingly disruptive sound, right? It's forceful. So I'm reappropriating that. Let's take it one more time. Wiggle the fingers, roll the wrists. Make a fist with the thumb outside of your fingers and make a thumb with your wrists. Not your wrists, make a fist, with your thumb inside your fingers. Inhaling forward. Let's what the fuck lean. I'm going to take it out. One side. Ooh, 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 ooh. Inhaling at center, taking the lean to the other. I'm keeping soft in the elbows. I'm keeping shrugged out of the shoulders. And let's do that one more time. Is anybody else feeling your hip? I'm feeling my hips. Inhaling at center, let's go ahead and take Angry Cat Tuck, which is really about the space between the rib cage and the tailbone rather than from the base of the neck to the waistband. I want to tuck my chin, just let the head drop, and I'm tucking the tailbone and pushing back into that space between the waistband and the tailbone. Inhaling to flat back, let's Chakravarkasana bow. Tuck the chin, take the forearms down, scoop the belly, and draw back into the fold. Make a fist, wiggle the fingers, spread them nice and wide, and coming on forward. What the fuck lean? Angry Cat Tuck. Flat back. Left arm is going to reach up and we're going to hug ourselves. So just wrap that arm around your body, tuck into the other arm or shoulder. Inhaling, unwind it. Plant the hand and take the other arm up. Again, I'm just wrapping it around myself. Inhaling up and planting the hand. Inhaling, Chakravarkasana bow. Tuck the chin, take the forearms down, scoop the belly, drop back into the fold. Make a fist, shift the direction, wiggle the fingers. Inhaling to center. And what the fuck lean. Angry cat tuck. Inhaling to flat back, lengthen the left arm out. Reach it across to hug through the right side. Inhaling up. Right side. Reach it around. And plant the hands. We're tucking the toes. And I'm just going to stay forward in this position. No weight bearing. I'm just using the placement of the toes to stretch through the feet. I'm feeling that all the way up the calf. In fact, I'm coming down to the forearms to take a break off my wrists. Inhaling up to the hands, tuck those toes flat, and let Chakravarkasana bow it. Tuck the chin, take the forearms down, scoop the belly, draw back into the fold. Wiggle the fingers, roll the wrists. Inhaling forward. What the fuck, lean. Angry cat tuck. Flat back, left arm is going to reach up and out. Now I'm going to take the heel of my hand and line it up with my wrist, lower my forearm to the mat, and then lean away and take a little extra twist here. Inhaling up, placing that hand on the mat, right side, reaches up. Taking the heel of the hand right to the wrist, lower the forearm, lean a little bit. So this is a modified thread the needle. We don't ever thread the needle in this at the fucking yoga company. Tuck those toes, because threading the needle and pressing into that shoulder, now I'm leaning back to increase the strength of this stretch. Say that fast 3 times. Inhaling forward, I'm rolling up into the balls of the feet. I'm going to stay here in what I consider a pike pose, right? And just take a press of a heel down. Because we don't need to compress. There's no value, let me say that, I'll show you what I mean, in this thread the needle. Again, not a life skill. In fact, let Chakravarkasana bow it. Tuck the chin, take the forearms down, scoop the belly, draw back into the fold. Wiggle the fingers, roll the wrists. I'm going to come up 2 knees just to show you for a second. This is what I'm talking about, this thread the needle where you lay down on this arm. All you're doing is compressing your radial nerve, which runs somewhere through here, down the arm, and controls some of the sensitivity in your fingers. This is not a stretch, right? When we come here and make this like a nice, lovely, wide angle and pull, now you're going to stretch into the triceps, the rhomboids. There's a rhomboid back here, maybe a little bit into the teres minor. So we don't do compression. Compression at the fucking yoga company is a bad thing. Where are we at? Oh, inhaling forward. What the fuck, lean? Angry cat tuck. Inhaling to flat back, tuck into the toes. So we're taking that thread the needle out of the mix, shifting forward to roll up into the feet, step in a little bit to strengthen this calf stretch, because we're going to start moving into the flow. And we're adding extra twisting in the flow. All right, I'm going to glance forward and walk up. Let's take our first forward fold. I'm grabbing a block, soft in the knees. Give me squishing knees and elbows, inhaling and taking a fold. Soft and let's bring the elbows to knees and stretch on up to the ceiling. Cactus squeeze. Shaking those arms out. Lateral extension. Lateral extension. Forward folding chair, taking it down. Sitting into those heels, letting the body rest on the top of the thighs. Trace the fingers on up the body. Coming on up to that stretch. Cactus squeeze. Lateral extension. Roll the ankle, or those are not your ankles. Roll your wrists. Wiggle the fingers. Inhaling up, let's forward fold it again. Forward folding chair. Ardha Utkatasana. And we're tracing fingers up the legs for half lift. So this is really not half lift. It's about 120 degrees. I want to lengthen up and activate the core here. Tuck these shoulders back. Warming up our body to get ready for some work. Come on down to the block. I'm moving it a little bit further away from my feet. Bend the right knee. Twist up to the left. Now I'm looking at my hand. I'm not going to strain my neck. Bring it on down. Take a little fold. Inhaling up. Bend the left knee. Straight. Twist it up. Coming on down and releasing. Bend the knees. Touch the hands to the legs. Stretch on up. Cactus squeeze. Lateral extension. And lean. Inhaling up to come down. Forward folding chair. I'm just going to touch the fingertips to my toes and arch my back toward the ceiling. Releasing it on down. Trace the fingers up to this half lift. I need to come up with a better, I don't know. You hear this, half lift. This would be half lift, and this is going to strain your hamstrings. 120 degrees puts this up in your core. Come on down to the block. Bend the knee. Twisting up to the left. Now, if you want to, you can look straight ahead. Follow your nose follows your sternum. Do not look up at your hand. You're just going to strain. Take a little bow. Your neck. And we don't want to do that. We want to release tension in the body rather than create tension in other places. Come on down for the fold. I'm going to step my left foot back to a crescent lunge. So I'm moving my right foot out. Woo! Lengthening up. Just resting my hands on the top of my knee. My knee is slid back behind my ankle and my heel. I want to stay out of that because if you push your knee forward over your ankle, over your toes, you're going to feel that strain right here in those insertion points. Quads, hamstring, adductors. And we don't want to strain the knee. I'm all about protecting the joints. There are a couple of body parts I wouldn't mind replacing, but my joints are not one of them. I'd like to keep most of my original equipment in good working order. Touch the mat. I'm going to step forward and take a little fold here. Now, please don't ragdoll hang this. If you do want to take a ragdoll hang by taking your hands to your elbows, as seen on TV, Just take those elbows and touch the legs. Bend the knees, trace up the body. If you're hanging into space, your hamstrings actually don't relax because they think you're going to fall. They're going to hang on to some of the electrical stimuli that keep them tense. And you're going to start getting yoga butt, which is a slight tear, strain of the hamstring insertion into the pelvic cradle. Forward folding chair. Tuck those fingertips under the toes. Now look, I've still got squish in my knees, still got squish in my elbows. Release on down. Trace up the legs for our lift. I want to call this the Eddie Eagle lift. Come on down to the block. I'm going to twist up to the left. Again, I'm going to keep my nose pointed down. I like this stretch through my... I was going to look up the name of those muscles. Release. I've been calling them the strap muscles because one of my lovely yoga instructors, used to call it a strap muscle. What am I doing? Tracing fingertips up the legs. This is like a ski jumper. I'll find is there an animal that does this? I'll figure it out. Coming on down to the block, tilting the knee, right knee, going up to the left. Now I want you to take the back of your left hand and tuck it to the center of your pelvic. Nope, that's your pelvic cradle. It is your tailbone. Keep your gaze straight ahead. Lengthen up. Come on down. Take a little fold. Come back up. Left knee bends. I'm twisting to the right. Look, I've got soft bend in the supporting elbow, my shoulders shrugged out, and then just tuck the back of the hand to the tailbone. Lengthen up. Come on down. Touch the mat. We're going to step the right foot back for that crescent lunge. I'm going to come up. Take your time. Soft in the knee, soft up here, long in the body. So I want you to think about the line of your spine, shoulder, rib, hip, knee, ankle. Stay out of the low back. I'm going to touch the mat and step forward. And trace fingertips up the legs. Cactus squeeze. Lateral extension. Forward folding chair. Tucking those fingers a little further back. I'm going to the balls of my feet and arching the back toward the ceiling. Releasing down, tracing fingers up the legs. Coming on down to the block. Bend the right knee, twist up to the left. Take the back of that hand and take it to the center of the tailbone. If you want, you can reach your fingers over toward the glute. Ooh, I'm getting a cramp. I don't know where that is, but I'm releasing tension. Sometimes when the body releases tension, straighten up the arm, come on down. It shifts it into a different place and it becomes a cramp. Bend the left knee, twist up to the right. Back of the hand comes either to the tailbone or take it over a little bit more deeply towards the opposite glute. Try to release your neck. I noticed I was straining my neck to hold my head up. Unwind it. Come on down. Touch the mat. Left foot's going to step into that crescent lunge. Coming on up. All right, I'm going to take my left hand and reach around to the right. I'm just going to take that right arm and stretch it down and away. Unwinding, touching the mat to step forward. A little forward fold. Trace the fingers up the legs. Cactus squeeze. Lateral extension. Lateral extension. Forward folding chair. Taking those fingertips right to the back of the ball of the foot, arching the back. Releasing down, trace the fingers up the legs for our lift. And coming down to the block, right knee bends, twisting up to the left. Now I'm going to take that arm a little further toward my opposite hip. Unwind it. Little release. Twist, bend the left knee, twist up to the right. Take those fingers just a little further. Unwinding, taking it down, releasing to the mat. I'm going to take my right foot back into that crescent lunge. Right hand's going to reach across to the left hip. And I'm going to stretch that left arm out and back. Keep the body long. Try to do your best to stay out of that low back. Unwinding, taking the hands down. I'm going to step my front foot back into downward facing dog. So my toes are going to be a little closer to my nose than my hands are. Slight overextension of the upper body. Soft in the knees. Soft in the elbows. Scoop the belly. Shrug out of the shoulders. I'm hollow. This is powered up through the core and the pecs and the back. Releasing the knees to the mat. And then we're Chakravarkasana bowing. Tucking the chin. Taking the forearms down. Scooping the belly. Draw back into the bow. I'm going to take a little rock side to side and release. We're going to move to our backs. So walk forward into your seated position. I'm just taking a little stretch here. You could join me. I'm getting a cramp in the top of my foot. All right, I'm going to walk my body forward. Take some water. If you're sipping coffee, now's the time to take a little sip of coffee. All right, we're going to come on back. Hug those knees to your chest. And let's release. Okay, we're going to take some twisting, upper body and lower body. And I guess we don't twist the lower body, we twist the torso. But we can certainly twist the upper body. So let's do that one first. And you're going to need a blanket. Oh, sorry. Just made a big clattering noise. All right. I'm resting on this blanket. And I'm doing that to support my head. Actually, I don't need it though. Do I need? Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and fold it like that. You could let rest on a block. You could rest on a pillow. I'm gonna take my left arm a little straight out. Well, actually not straight out. I'm gonna extend my arm a little lower than my shoulder, right? I'm gonna bring my knees to 90 degrees. And then I'm taking my right hand and reaching it forward to stack on my left. I'm going to inhale to prepare. And then let's exhale. I'm going to follow my thumb with my gaze and reach that shoulder blade down toward the mat. Inhaling, coming forward. And exhaling. We exhale in a twist so that we can, work that breath. This is the only position in which these headphones are kind of a pain. Plus I have piercings. Jesus Christ. Whew. You know what? He doesn't care. In fact, he probably appreciates it. All right, I'm going to bring my elbow up. So I want to take my fingertips 90 degrees there, and I'm going to rotate the palm of my hand toward the mat. And unwind. We're shifting to the other side. Same thing. Resting my head, supporting my head on this blanket. Right arm extends, palm up. Left hand reaches toward the right. Inhaling to prepare. Exhaling, reaching back with the shoulder blade first. And I want to get, something just clicked. Inhaling forward. So I am going to follow my gaze. I'm going to attach my eyes to the thumb and take my head over. And one more time. So tight. All right, I'm going to take my elbow to 90 degrees. Palm facing down towards the knees. I'm just going to gently rotate my hand forward. Look at that. Oh, you see that? Look how different it was from the first side. I could get my left arm all the way to the floor almost. This one is not going. And unwinding. Okay, I'm moving this blanket out of the way. Coming to the back. We're going to finish off with a big torso twist. So I'm going to bring my knees up, little rock side to side. Arms in a delta sweep or cactus position, you decide. Inhaling at center. Let's take the knees all the way over to one side. Scoop the belly. Inhale up. Oh, and release them all the way over in the other direction. Clicking, creaking, cracking, all of the Rice Krispie sounds. Coming on up. All right, I'm going to take my big toe I'm going to put both of my toes on the edge of the mat. We're going to windshield wiper sweep. So I'm taking knees over to one side. Inhaling and taking it over to the other. And one more time. All right, coming to center. I'm taking my fingers over the tops of my knees. We're going to work a little Apanasana. The weight of the legs hangs in the length of the arms. Inhaling at center. Exhaling, drawing those knees up to the body and tuck the tailbone up. Inhaling, unwind. Exhaling. Inhaling, unwinding it. Exhaling. One more time. Little rock side to side. All right, we're moving into relaxation. Now, in Morning Groove Yoga, we take a brief, I would say it's a shorter relaxation than we do, say, in relaxation yoga or Vinyasa yoga. And that's because my intention is that we're going to get up off this mat and work towards our day, right? You can take full traditional Shavasana if that works for you. Legs extended, arms at your sides, palms up. If you're feeling that tension in the low back, you can go ahead and tuck a pillow underneath the knees, roll a beach blanket or a towel underneath your neck, but keep the back of your head in alignment with the back of your neck, right? Or you could fold up a blanket underneath your low back. But the blanket, I want you to keep your entire pelvic cradle to the waist in the same plane. Good to go? Or you can go feet on the floor, knees to the ceiling. Let those knees tent in. Arms can be wherever you would like, whatever you feel comfortable resting. The other thing is if you are gestating a human being fully and completely on your own autonomous will and you have full access to reproductive rights and care, you can lay on the side that you're allowed to lay on. I can't remember which one that is. The last time I was in that condition, it was 27 years ago. So put a pillow between your knees. If you've got a body bolster, that's a lovely thing to have. Just let your arm rest over the top of that sucker and support your head. You could take seated meditation, which is actually what I'm going to do. Seated relaxation. It is meditation, but sometimes meditation is a triggering word for folks. I don't really meditate. But I do a lot of yoga, so. Seated meditation in comfortable seated position, whatever that looks like for you. I'm going to go into a Konasana, a cobbler's pose. Soles of the feet together, knees are going to relax. Pulling that attention and awareness into the state and quality of your forehead. I want you to think about all of the tiny little muscles and nerve endings around the eyes and the temples, through the cheeks. Unclench the teeth, relax the tongue away from the roof of the mouth. Take a little shake of the head, no. Give me a little shimmy of the shoulders. Wiggle those arms, relax the fingers. Follow the line of the spine from the base of the neck, down between the shoulders, through the rib cage, tuck the tailbone, and then relax and let the torso sink toward the floor. Give me a little wiggle of the quads, flex the calves, rock and roll the ankles, wiggle the toes, and then let the lower body take its rest toward the floor. Pulling attention and awareness into the state and quality of your thinking, and release anything that might be kind of clawing. I'm going to change that language. Shuffle off to buffalo anything that's trying to grab your attention. So there's some things have started to bump around there. I want you to relax all of that and hold on to your silence and anchor that silence into the breath. Let's just follow the inhale and exhale. releasing that energy of the breath, and we're going to draw some deep breaths into the lungs, big filling inhales, big sighing exhales. Pay attention to spreading that energy out into the body. We're releasing those arms out to the side, stretching the legs out, rocking and rolling the wrists and the ankles, wiggle the fingers, wiggle the toes. Reach those arms up and take a big yawning, getting out of bed stretch. Bring a knee up, give it a squeeze. If you're seated with me, just loop your arm around the back of the knee. Bring the other knee up, and we're going to lean into that and take a rock side to side. Roll from one hip across to the other. Just taking that. When you're ready, rocking all the way over to one side. And we're peeling our upper body off the mat first, coming back into comfortable seated position, whatever that looks like for you. Taking a little rock side to side, stacking shoulders over ribs, ribs over hips. Scanning the body, checking in state and quality of the physical form. You might notice something new, and that's completely normal because we've released tension in some parts of the body only to discover that there's tension in other parts of the body. That's all right. Everything's progress. Moving that attention and awareness into the state and quality of our breathing, and check in and notice how it feels just to breathe intuitively, right? No control. Moving that attention and awareness into the state and quality of our thinking. And now's the time when we can start to organize that to-do list and really find those things that are time sensitive and what we think, we can really get done today. If your list is like mine, there's 1,000 things on it, and we're not going to get 1,000 things done today. So, right? Do your organization, make your priority, pick your top 5, and if you get those things done today, you can move on to the next 3, right? Let's make realistic goals and give ourselves a break and an actual chance of achieving some of that shit. Releasing practice, blinking our eyes open, taking a nice lovely stretch if you want to at the end of this, honoring your body for doing what you asked it to do today and all the hard work it does to get you from one end of the week to the other. Let's acknowledge that some weeks are easy, some weeks pretty much suck. And we are all operating it's a dynamic, our best moves, right? It moves and it ebbs and flows with all of the factors that exist in our lives. Grace and kindness, people, we offer it to ourselves first, right? And then I want you to recognize that the people around you, even the assholes, they have parents like you do. They have struggles like you do. Maybe they're not the same struggles, right? But try to, I'm as guilty as anybody. I've been fighting a battle, and I generally try to treat the customer service representatives with grace and kindness because they have a terrible job. It's their job to be the last guard, right, between the customer or the first guard. They're the pawns, they're the foot soldiers, and so frustrated and so tired and not in a good space. And I kind of went after them, not verbally, but by email, because a lot of places don't even have phone numbers anymore. And I let my frustration turn me into someone that I don't really appreciate. So that doesn't mean my struggle's not real. It doesn't mean that my problems aren't my problems. We all have them. Just try to remember that, if there's an asshole in your life, I gave them the keys to my car. This is what I used to tell the kids when they were fighting with each other, especially the boys. You're letting you've given your brother the keys to your car. He's driven NASCAR and he's not even filling up the tank, right? So don't let them know where your goat is tied. Don't give them the keys to your car. We control ourselves, and we can always operate with grace and kindness, right? So remember, right? Remember. World's getting rough out there, and really some of the only control we have is how we actually treat other human beings. And remember that they are human beings. They have this, I wish for you what I would wish for myself. And that's how I roll. Ciao.